everyone. You may wonder why I'm standing in front of my wonderful double oven in the kitchen at Cog Hill Farm. Today's going to be a special treat, and later on in this video you'll see why. But the first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and preheat my oven. The top one, I haven't used both of these at one time, so today is a very special day. The top one I'm going to preheat to 425 degrees. The bottom one I'm going to preheat to 450 degrees. So we have upper oven going, lower oven going, and while that's preheating, I want to show y'all a little something that's been going on at Cog Hill Farm. So I'm going to start by showing you that we have bar stools. We have bar stools here at our island in our kitchen, which have enabled us to be able to sit down and have a meal versus sitting on the couch and using the coffee tables. Now we do have a kitchen table, but right now it's covered in all of the things that need to go in the kitchen cabinets because we still don't have cabinet doors. Those are coming. They were supposed to be in this week, but something must have happened. So it's going to be a little bit longer on the kitchen cabinet doors, but that's not stopping us from cooking and going on with our everyday life. So I do not think that anybody has seen the backsplash that's been installed in the kitchen. Don't pay any attention to my things in my cabinets. I don't have shelves, so I'm not able to utilize the space. It's just kind of all jammed in there. But you can see that we went with the full backsplash, and this is called River Blue. It has a texture to it. It's a leathered surface, which means it's not smooth and real shiny looking like most of your granite and quartz and natural stones are. This has a more textured surface, which we really like. We went with a full backsplash behind the oven and underneath the vent hood, which goes all the way to the ceiling. I'm very pleased with how it turned out. We really couldn't figure out what to do here. We didn't know if we should end it and have this area blank, but I think it turned out wonderful with it being the full backsplash behind the cooktop. Now, cooktop is propane, and I have really enjoyed using it so far. It's gotten a lot of use in its short time that it's been installed. I have dishes. I have dishes that are in the cabinets. We're no longer using paper plates for every meal, using our dishes, and I have glasses. So we're using real cookware versus throwaway things. Something else that has happened that's big is my pantry has been completed. And everything's not exactly the way we want it, but it is a work in progress. So even though it's not complete, I'm going to show y'all what it looks like. Okay, here we go. So one of the biggest things that I wanted in our house build was a large walk-in pantry. While at Little Cog, we had a lot of cabinet space. There was not a lot of room to utilize space for food and for everything that you need to cook with. And I have a lot of those things. It's almost like I collect them because it's not things that I use on a daily basis. I just need them in case I decide that I want to prepare something that needs a specialty piece of equipment. So we had our cabinet guy take a look at it, and he wrote down all the dimensions and was going to get back with me with a quote, which never happened. And I know he's just too busy. We finally realized that that wasn't going to happen. Reached out to another cabinet maker who came back with a price that was just way more than we wanted to spend. We were at the end of our build when we knew that we needed to do something here in the pantry. So we reached out to our wonderful workers, Roberto and Heidel, who did all the trim work in the house. They hung the sheetrock, they did the sheetrock finishing, they did all the painting. So we know those guys are wonderful at what they do. We reached out to them. Jason showed them a picture and said, do you think you could do this? Well, immediately they said yes. So they were right on the job. They came to us and they took a look at it, and they told us a price which was very, very good compared to what we had been quoted. And we decided to just do open shelves. Roberto and Heidel stained the wood with a walnut finish, and they used a clear that was matte. We didn't want anything shiny in here. We wanted it to look farmhouse, industrial, and I think it turned out wonderful. They used shelving brackets that are just black, and they hold up the shelves wonderfully. There was no additional brackets that were needed. So the shelves go to top to bottom. We've got things stored from top to bottom, and we're thinking what we're going to do is to install a library ladder that will go on a track right here. Then we pick it up and we move it. So if we need anything in this pantry, we'll be able to use that ladder and slide it around. We haven't ordered that yet, but that's something that we're thinking about doing. I love the way that they made these shelves doubled in the back, so I can house my Instapot, my crock pot, my big bowls. Everything that I need is in this pantry. And my cabinets are going to be simply for cookware, for bakeware, for things that I need to use to cook with versus food and specialty items. Another thing that we did that I think turned out wonderful is Jason installed spice racks. And we just ordered these off Amazon. So it allows me to visually see the spices that I need. We did go back and we ordered some wider ones that will allow us to house things that are a little bit wider that wouldn't fit in this one. And then he put a magnetic strip up there for all of our knives that we don't have room to store in the kitchen at this time. Okay, so why do I have that oven preheated? Let's go take a look and see what the temperature is. So why did I preheat the ovens earlier? I am going to do a special video today that is cornbread. It is going to be the recipe that I use for our family, which we prepare for just about every meal in our house. And there's going to be another recipe that I also love that was by my home economics teacher in the 8th grade, Miss Rabin, who has passed on. But she was the first one that taught me how to make cornbread, and there's a recipe that I've saved over the years that belonged to her that she taught us to make cornbread. So I'm going to use both of these ovens to cook 2 different styles of cornbread that you may want to actually use in your home. But at the end, I'm going to let Jason taste both of them and see if he has a preference as to which one. Now, I kind of think I know which one he's going to pick, but you never know. I'm making 2 different recipes. The first one is using a 12-inch cast iron skillet, which is my go-to when I make my recipe of cornbread. So the ovens are just about to the correct temperature. You don't want to put your oil in to preheat until it's just about ready. So I have 1/4 cup of just regular, you can see it's liquid vegetable oil, that I'm going to pour in my cast iron skillet that's been seasoned over the years. There should not be any issues with sticking if the pan is seasoned correctly. So you can see it just kind of coats the bottom. Now if you wanted to use a 9-inch skillet, a cast iron skillet that's 9 inches, I would say use 3 tablespoons of oil versus the 1/4 cup, which is 4 tablespoons. Okay, so this is the second recipe that I'll be making, which was my home economics teacher recipe. Now what she does is she used a solid vegetable spread, which is known as Crisco. All vegetable shortening is the correct term for it. So you take a 1/2 cup and you're going to distribute it as evenly as you can. I need to grab another spoon. You're going to distribute the 1/2 cup as evenly as you can in each one of these 12 muffin tins. All right, so that 1/2 cup is distributed fairly evenly. You can see I just have a little bit in each little compartment here. And now I'm going to put these in my preheated oven of 425 for the all vegetable shortening, and 450 for the vegetable oil. Okay, so my upper is for the muffin tin at 425. I'm so excited I get to use both of them at one time. Okay, so I'm gonna set a timer for 5 minutes. Now, depending on your oven, give or take, it may not take 5 minutes, but I usually preheat it for about 5 minutes. So the first recipe that I'm gonna mix up here is from my home economics teacher, which uses 1 cup of self-rising cornmeal, which I like to use the sunflower brand of cornmeal. As long as it's self-rising cornmeal, this should be fine. So I put that in my pan, and I'm going to add to this 1 egg, 1 cup of buttermilk, and a tablespoon of sugar. Here's my 1 cup of buttermilk. Look at that. That's what makes this one so good, I believe. Look how pretty this egg is, laid fresh from one of our freeloading chickens. Okay, so I always crack my egg in a bowl just in case any little pieces of shell get in there. Look how orange that yolk is, how beautiful. Okay, add that to your mixture of your self-rising cornmeal and your buttermilk. And last but not least, a tablespoon of sugar. And that is all that goes into this. I have never tried to substitute regular milk in this recipe, so I really can't tell you if that would work or not. But the buttermilk flavor to me just kind of sets it off. Now, I do not use buttermilk in my cornbread recipe unless I were to have it on hand. Okay, so that is ready. Now I'm gonna mix up my recipe. So I have 1.5 cups of self-rising cornmeal, and to that I'm going to add 1 cup of milk. Okay, and this is another thing that is totally different about these two recipes. You can see that we preheated the oil in the muffin tins. Instead of adding the oil to this mixture, I'm going to ladle the cornmeal, milk, sugar, egg mixture into the muffin tins and hopefully distribute this into the 12 tins. So I'm putting this one back into my 425-degree preheated oven for about 20 minutes, and that is depending on your oven. So now for my preheated 450-degree hot cast iron skillet filled with hot vegetable oil. You can tell when that oil's hot. This one is a little bit different than the other recipe because I add the hot oil to the milk and cornmeal mixture and just give it a quick stir. Don't spend too much time on it. You just want the oil to kind of be distributed. Pour this mixture back into your hot iron skillet. Just be careful because it gets very, very hot. And you can see that it just is a very thin mixture. And that's how we like it here at Cog Hill Farm. And back into the 450-degree oven for 20 minutes. There we go. Guess what time it is? It's time to get the cornbread out. So this one is the one that's made in the muffin tins. Oh my gracious, I haven't had this in a minute. Doesn't that look beautiful? It's gonna taste just as good. So we're gonna set this one right here while I get the original Cog Hill Farm cornbread out of the oven. This one is a bit heavier. So always make sure you have something to set it on. I think I'm gonna turn this one out first onto my plate. Are you ready? I'm not usually used to an audience. It turned out okay, didn't it? It did. All right. Oh, wow, look.
Delicious. Looks delicious.
I'm gonna put all 12 of them on here because I know between me and you, we're gonna at least eat 12. Look how beautiful these little muffins are. Okay, so I'm thinking that I may want you to put a blindfold on.
Okay.
And I'm going to do a little taste test on you. I know you're going to be able to distinguish which one's which, but you're going to have to tell me which one you like better.
Okay.
So I always slice my cornbread like a pizza. You can slice it any way you'd like. That's not going to make any difference in the way this tastes. Jason, are you ready?
I'm ready. I am ready.
Okay. So let me put your blindfold on you.
Okay.
Can you see?
I can't see.
Are you sure?
Yeah, there ain't no hot pans over here, is it?
Well, no.
Okay.
You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. What do y'all think he's gonna pick? I'm just cutting it up.
Okay.
So give me a minute. Oh, it's warm, Jason.
Is it too warm?
No,
Okay.
it's not. But we're not gonna put any butter on this because we don't want to mess this up. First bite.
That's good. That's really good.
Okay, you ready?
Mm-hmm.
You need a little water to clear your palate?
I'm good.
Okay, here we go. This one's not quite as hot. Here I am opening my mouth with you.
Both good.
Which one's which?
First one is the Miss Raven. Mm-hmm. I can taste the buttermilk.
Can you?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
And I said it before, maybe in a live, I like the buttermilk flavor.
I do too. Let's take this off.
You could do yours this way and use buttermilk instead of regular milk.
It's a total different flavor.
That reminds me of my nanny's.
You know why I think I've adapted to making it this way?
So easy.
It's so easy, and it's ingredients that we always have on hand.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Because buttermilk's not something that we use all the time.
That's right, and neither, I mean, you know, there are times when we're without eggs.
Yeah.
Those girls out there need to get busy,
They're not laying right now.
They're not. But this is a good go-to for a quick, easy.
Yeah, because neither are bad. They're both awesome.
You know what I feel like, though?
What?
I feel like this is a cornbread that goes with a meal. That you sop your peas and your collard green goodness up with.
I was thinking the same exact thing.
This is more like a staple all on its own.
It is. You could take this cornbread right here and put cold butter on it. And that could be almost like a side itself.
Exactly.
This right here, cornbread, is more like, yeah, like you said, getting all that pot liquor, sopping it up, and eating it. And that flavor soaks in this cornbread and gives it a totally different vibe.
If you haven't ever tried to cook cornbread, both of them are an easy recipe. Both of them. So maybe if people enjoy this video and we get good feedback off of it, Thanksgiving's right around the corner. Maybe we could make our family's dressing recipe.
I think that'd be great.
All right.
I really do.
We may be on to something.
Maybe on to something.
Okay, well, I hope you guys enjoyed this Mrs. Cog Hill video, and I hope everyone will give cornbread a try, because it seems like there are a lot of you out there that have never tried to make cornbread, and you can see how easy and simple it is.
It's so good.
It is.
Y'all be good. It will be good with butter on it.
I've been missing that.